Hello, everyone. This is Ian from Action Language at Action Foundation. I'm joined today by one of our volunteer teachers, Hilary. Hi, Hilary.
Hello.
And today we're going to talk all about, plants that you can grow to eat. Hilary, so I asked you particularly because I know you have something called an allotment.
I do, yes. I'm very lucky. I have a patch of land where I grow vegetables and fruit, but it's not my own. It belongs to the city council, and I have to pay just a very small amount of rent every year. But it means that I have a lovely patch of land that I can grow things on, and also I find it a very sociable place. There are whenever I go to my allotment, which is it takes me about 15 minutes to walk, but when I get there are always other people working in their allotments, and I enjoy talking to other people who like gardening as much as I do. It's also good for me because I don't have a garden in my own house.
Yeah, so lots of our students probably won't have gardens either, and they may have seen these, big, groups of vegetable patches around. So that's what they are, their allotments, and there are a lot of them in Newcastle in particular.
Yes, there are. The trouble is, I think now there are long waiting lists, especially since lockdown. I think allotments have got even more popular, and people like the idea of having their own green space. So I think, unfortunately, it's not possible to apply and get one straight away. You might have to wait several months.
Yeah, and for anybody watching who's interested, I will be posting a link about applying for an allotment and how long it might take, so you can click those links there. So Hilary, what kind of fruit and vegetables can we expect in our gardens at the moment?
Right, well, at the moment we're getting towards the end of summer, and there's a lot of vegetables in particular that are just about ready. So I've brought some examples to show you. I grow a lot of tomatoes.
Oh, wow, all different colors as well.
Oh yes, all different colors. So I don't know if you can see all different colors and shapes and sizes. So I've got some huge ones that like that, which are very, they're called a Black Russian. They're very, very dark red, and they're lovely in a salad or cooking them. And then I have these little ones that you see in the shops. They're called Gardener's Delight. But I also like growing different colors. So I've got these tiny little orange ones, which are very, very sweet, that you can eat them like sweets. So lots and lots of tomatoes at the moment, but I grow them undercover. So we might talk about that a bit later. They don't grow outside. Then I grow a lot of courgettes, too many. I always have too many courgettes.
And we need to be careful with courgettes, don't we? Because if we let them grow for too long.
Absolutely. If you turn your back on them, 2 or 3 days, and you come back and they're that size, they just seem to grow overnight. And whereas when they're that size, they're lovely, delicate flavor. I find once they get that big, they don't taste very much. They're a bit watery, and we call them, for some reason we changed their name. So this is a courgette, or some people might call them a zucchini. But once they get to that size, we call them a marrow. And I find the marrows quite difficult to make them taste of anything. But luckily, I have a neighbor who is an Indian lady, and she makes delicious marrow chutney. So this one is going next door.
I was going to say, often at this time of year, neighbors who grow things will give you some vegetables, and you must remember that actually by taking them, you are helping this person also, because they probably
Very
want
much,
too many
yes.
vegetables.
Just say yes, just say. So those, oh, the other thing I'll show you, and not everything I grow comes out perfectly. And this is my an aubergine that I've just grown,
Oh.
but it's a very strange shape. It has all these sort of knobs and things on it. So I think it'll taste all right, but I wouldn't give this to anybody. I think I'll cook it myself.
Yes, and normally I think in England and the rest of the UK, we don't sell unusual shaped vegetables in the shops. So in other countries, it might be more normal to see, you know, a more round aubergine or a carrot, which is in 2 or 3 parts. But for some reason here, we often don't sell these. But
no,
you know,
which is a shame
good.
because they taste perfectly good. It's just the funny shape. Then the other thing I've got lots of at the moment are beans, green beans.
Oh wow, my favorite.
See them? They grow like that off the plant. They look quite attractive. They grow very tall, and they have lovely red flowers, and then the beans come. Again, the trouble is you get too many, and after a while, particularly my husband says, "Oh no, more beans, please." So I either freeze them, you can put them in the freezer, or I give them to friends and neighbors. And the last thing I want to show you that's growing at the moment is a local vegetable which is very well known in the northeast of England, and that's a leek. It's called a leek, which is they grow quite tall in the ground, and they're part of the onion family. So they taste a bit like an onion, but a little bit sweeter, and they're lovely to cook with. I put them in a lot of soups and stews. And the good thing about leeks is that they can stay in the ground all winter. They won't come to harm. So although those, I've picked those today to show you, but the rest of my leeks will stay. I might not, they might keep me going till about January, February time.
Wow.
It's really good. Yeah.
So, you know, you can save quite a lot of money and time shopping by growing your own vegetables.
Yes, absolutely. And not only that, but I just think they taste so much better when they're fresh, straight out of the ground.
Yeah, definitely. Often things taste maybe a bit sweeter, and also a bit more earthy. You often get the real taste of the vegetable, which is often missing in the supermarket.
Yeah, yes.
And if we move across to fruit, it's coming up to my favorite time of year soon, which is apple time.
Yes, yes. I love apples as well. I don't have an apple tree, but my neighbours on either side have apples, so I get a lot from them. And they grow very well in the UK. And there's a huge range of varieties of apples. We have apples that the smaller apples are for eating straight away, so you can pick them off the tree and eat them. And then the bigger, bright green ones are for cooking. We call them cooking apples, and they make delicious pies and crumbles and apple tart. And so it's good to have lots of apples and pears. They'll be ready in the next few weeks as well. Lovely fruit. Yeah.
Yeah. And So some of our students won't have gardens, or maybe not even a yard where they could have big pots or beds to grow vegetables. And as we said, it might take a long time to get an allotment. So are there things that you can grow inside your house?
Yes, there are. If you just have a window ledge or a sunny part of the house, you could have pots and grow things like lettuces, radish. I'll send you a picture of radish, which are lovely peppery vegetables. You could grow tomatoes inside in a sunny patch. They would grow very well. So in other words, you need vegetables that don't need a great lot of depth of soil. They just grow on the surface. So something like courgettes wouldn't work very well because they take up a lot of space. They would crawl all over your house. But something that you can get all sorts of different salad crops, which you can just pick a few leaves when you want a salad for a meal and then leave the rest to grow. That's quite a good option if you don't have much space.
Yeah, and I think sometimes some supermarkets, actually, if you want to buy lettuce, you can buy living lettuce. And if you just keep watering it and cutting the big leaves, it will keep growing.
Yes, absolutely. Same with herbs. You can buy one pot of herb like coriander or basil or parsley. And then what I do, I buy a big pot of basil from the supermarket and then divide it up into smaller pots. And that way I get about four plants for the price of one, which is a good way of doing it.
Mm-hmm. And then your house smells lovely as well.
Yes.
You have lots of basil in it.
Yes, indeed. And basil and tomatoes go very well together in the summer. Yeah,
they do. And if you're wanting to plant, say, tomatoes, I believe you can actually, grow them from the seeds from the tomatoes that you're eating yourself. You don't need to necessarily buy a packet.
Yes, that's true. A lot of plants. I haven't tried that with tomatoes, but you can do it. You'd need to pick out the seeds from the tomato and dry them off first until they become quite brown and hard, and then you plant them the next spring. But what I have done is I do that quite often with peppers. So I've got some nice green and red peppers growing that from seed that I saved from last year. So yeah, that's a good way of saving money as well.
Yeah, that's a good tip. I didn't know about peppers. Thanks, Hilary. And we've talked about the vegetables that are ready now and the things that will be ready soon. If somebody wants to plant something now, and at the moment it's end of October, beginning of September, what could we be planting now?
Right. To plant, well, there are a few vegetables that grow outdoors over the winter. Something I've already mentioned, the leeks, but you could also be planting, if you have outdoor space, you could plant onions and garlic. You could plant, in fact, if you buy a little garlic bulb like that from a supermarket, you could take off the individual bulbs and plant those, and they would grow over the winter and they would be ready next spring. We have some vegetables, things like turnips, which grow well over the winter, and some green, well, we call them brassicas, don't we? But it covers things like cabbages and sprouts and a whole range of green vegetables. Broccoli is another one that can grow over the winter, and you can pick it perhaps January, February, March time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
But
often,
indoors, if you're growing things indoors, then you could keep planting lettuce.
yeah, have
throughout.
fresh lettuce every day. Yeah.
Yes, you could. Yeah.
Yeah, and so, you know, a lot of the sort of winter vegetables are the sort of the big green and white vegetables, aren't they? That,
Yes.
you know, we use for, you know, kind of, I guess, different soups and things like that in the winter.
Cauliflowers and broccoli. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Hilary, and for showing us your vegetables. And if any of our viewers or students have vegetables that they've grown, please post a picture in the comments below. Thank you very much, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you. Bye. Happy growing.